This is a Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization Dirt Road Roundtable Drive. We're in the area because of a recent Bigfoot sighting caught on video, and we've already investigated the sighting location with the witnesses, and now because of the recent Bigfoot sighting, we're investigating the area where we think it's more than likely it came from or it is at.
Heading to.
Could be. Yeah, we're spreading out from the sighting location, and we're heading back into a location nearby that Jenny and I have camped many times over the years because of the Bigfoot sightings in these areas. And matter of fact, we're heading in the direction of the first credible Bigfoot vocalizations that I've ever heard in my life camping back here. Yeah, the Bigfoot was filmed exactly 7 days ago. We've already scoured the location, so now we're heading to other hot spots nearby. We're west of Bear Lake, Utah, Bear Lake, Idaho. The border of Utah and Idaho goes right down the middle of the lake. Splits the lake in two. I underestimated the size of the subject in the video just looking at it, and after going and investigating the location and standing where they filmed it, seeing one of the witnesses, seeing Jenny over where the subject was, and then measuring some snowmobile markers that it had walked past. The thing is much bigger than I initially gave it credit for. I thought it was in the 5 to 6 foot range, and now I know it was well over 6 feet tall. We just went and got all the video analysis and measurements together, and when we get home, we'll have to analyze that, and maybe I can get a better estimate of its size. But I know it's much bigger than what I initially thought. Broad shoulders, long arms. We have these roundtable drives in place of podcasts so you guys can see where we're at and what we're doing. There may be long gaps of conversation because we're here to scour the area and look for the creature from our vehicle and on foot where it makes sense. But we can cover a lot more ground in the vehicle, and we want to get down here in every nook and cranny and see if there's a Bigfoot still in the area. Jenny and I have actually been stuck in the snow back here on 2 different occasions and had to dig out. And one of the times we had a camp trailer, our vehicle and our camp trailer got stuck in the snow, so we were having to dig out from underneath both of them.
Both times in the middle of the night.
Yes.
Sometimes you gotta wait till you get off of work to get up camping, and it's dark when you get there.
The location that we dug our Jeep and trailer out of the snow and then went and set up camp, the next day we ran into a fishing game officer and told him, where we'd gotten stuck, and he's like, I got stuck there the night before and had to dig out. So we're not the only ones.
No, it was a tricky spot. This area is super fun to spotlight.
Yeah, we've had some crazy spotlighting experiences here. We had something in the woods that we could see its eye shine because we were spotlighting it, that kept pace with our vehicle in the thick of the trees, following us parallel. And what's crazy about that is, in my experience, deer, elk, and moose usually run away.
They don't follow your car.
Yeah, and pace it per speed. Yeah, that was probably the creepiest spotlight situation, besides the mountain lion that followed us that one night.
Yeah.
You viewers at home, keep your eye open for Bigfoot. Let us know the timestamp and where we're at in the frame. You see it if you see one, because Jenny and I can only see one direction at a time, and the camera never blinks. And this is hot off the presses, fresh Bigfoot sighting with video evidence that now I feel is credible. Want to let you guys know how this went down last night, just before dark. Got the message, had the guy send me the 2 photos in the video, and I started analyzing it, asking lots of questions. And frankly, Jenny and I know this area very well, and I recognized the spot in the video. Jenny looks at it, she recognizes the spot, and then the dude told us where it happened, and we both already knew. Well, unannounced, we didn't tell him we were going to do this. We showed up this morning to investigate the spot and do some measurements to try and figure out the size of the thing, look for footprints. And we show up, and the witness and his friend that got a hold of us about it, they were already there looking for footprints and doing measurements of their own to try and figure out the size. And so all that going on, it helped me rule out that they were involved in a hoax. If they had set this up and trying to trick us per se, why would they be back 7 days later to dissect the area and try and figure out the size and look for footprints? I don't think they would have. So that gives a lot of credibility that they didn't hoax this. They caught whatever it was on video, which the more we're looking into it, it's probably a Bigfoot that they captured on that video is what I'm guessing. And if it was someone hoping someone would see them and film them, they were putting their life in danger. Rifle deer hunt was going on that day, and they're in brown from head to toe, all the way down to their fingertips, in brown, no deer hunter orange. You're just asking to be shot. Now these guys, they want to stay anonymous, but they gave me the okay to put the footage out there and stuff, and I interviewed them. I filmed the spot while Jenny was over there looking for evidence. And Jenny over there, I'm looking at her and looking through the viewfinder of the camera, and she just looks tiny over there compared to the creature those guys got. And even those guys I was interviewing and stuff, they're like, oh my gosh, she looks so tiny over there. I'm like, I know. That thing's much bigger than I gave it credit for. Some slippery, snowy sections. We weren't able to find footprints over there, us or them. But what happened is this was filmed at 5:30 p.m. on Saturday, October 24th. And then the next day on Sunday it snowed. And this is snow right here from that same time that didn't melt. I don't think it snowed this much over there, but it's enough that it screws up any footprints if there was any left behind. And in our experience, Bigfoot don't like to leave behind footprints. It'll walk on the rocks, logs, heavy brush. They seem cognizant. Maybe it's in their DNA not to leave tracks. But if it did leave them, I think the storm that come in may have helped erase that. I mean, 7 days.
That's where we camped.
Yep, Jenny and I have camped right here before, and we've hiked back into the woods there. That's where that squirrel attacked me.
It's so weird.
I've never had a squirrel so aggressive come after me.
It totally ignored me, and it attacked him.
It was bluff charging me. It kept stomping and coming at me angrily and getting up in my face, and it was just making me laugh because, you know, I could have kicked the dang thing. And it just shows you an animal can have a bad day, no matter how small it is, and have a bad day. And it did not appreciate me being there.
No.
That's also, remember that deer that grunted and snorted at us back in there that same day? That was kind of freaky, and then it showed itself. I'm like, holy cow, it was snorting aggressively. I don't know, maybe all the animals back there were having a bad day that day.
They were the zombie animals.
That seemed like a pretty aggressive grunt and snort that deer had going on.
I don't know. I don't know what they were trying to guard. They were guarding their land that day.
Yep, that's one of the places Jenny and I have camped back here. Ooh, I hope we can make it over the top. I doubt even on the top it's going to be much deeper than this.
No. It's
nice and cool out there.
Yeah. The only reason why this isn't melted is because people packed it down and it's in the shade.
Hope you guys enjoyed a look at a Bigfoot sighting hotspot. There's dozens and dozens of Bigfoot sightings back in here. I mean, a long history of them, and then a Bigfoot sighting just 7 days ago. So you guys are looking at an active hotspot. And Bigfoot sightings are very rare, so 7 days is recent, and we heard about it 6 days later, and it was too late for us to do anything about it except for plan on jetting up here first thing this morning. And Jenny and I were planning on sleeping in today, and that didn't happen. Yeah, crack butt of dawn. I know, it's funny, the witness and his son that filmed it, he was just like, oh my gosh, you guys are up here from there? And I'm like, oh, this is nothing. We're always here. We travel thousands of miles all the time for this. We're just happy that we were
this close.
We were actually at home. A lot of times we're on the road, you know, hundreds of miles away a lot of times when we get these sighting reports that are local. And I don't know, this is, what, like 120 miles from home, and we consider that local?
Yeah. If you can get there in a couple hours, that's local.
Yeah. I consider anything within 4 hours local.
Yeah.
If you can hop in a vehicle and get there in 4 hours, that's our backyard.
Yeah. When you live in a state as big as Utah, you don't get anywhere quickly.
But we can get here in about 90 minutes if we really put our foot into it. Yeah, we've done a lot of investigation and a lot of hiking back here.
We almost spent every single weekend back here one summer.
2011, 2012, we were back here constantly.
Almost every weekend.
This was our bread and butter Bigfoot search location.
Yeah.
Well, after finding footprints and hearing vocalizations, it got us excited and got us to keep coming back.
Yeah. That year, we didn't even ever put our camping equipment away. It just got brought in the house, put in a spot, and then put back in the car.
We sat it in the living room right next to the TV.
Yeah.
I know, and we'd have friends and family coming over like, aren't you guys going to put that away? And it's like, no, because on Friday night we're out again.
We're gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember for many years our camping equipment always sat in the living room all summer long.
It was either that or drag it up and down the stairs every week.
Yeah, I remember a couple of times that Mike went camping with us. He was just in shock how fast Jenny and I set up a camp and how fast we break it down. He's like, oh my gosh, you guys have this down. And I'm like, that's what we do every week.
Every week.
And we still do it now. Yep, we're efficient. That's our part-time job with full-time hours. Yeah, I probably put more hours into this than I do my conventional job. But it's a passion, a hobby, so it feels more rewarding than my conventional job. I'm not being able to watch into the woods as much as I would like. I'm having to watch this icy road. It makes more sense for that creature to be here where the dozens of sightings are, close to where it was spotted, than where it was spotted.
But everything has to get from point A to point B.
Yep. This was the next logical place to go look. I think it was up over this little pass here that we got stuck in the snow that one year. Pretty close to here. We were really close to going over this summit where we got stuck. Of course, that's where the snow's going to be the deepest. Yeah, the last time we got stuck in the snow here, we were investigating a fresh Bigfoot sighting. We were on a Bigfoot expedition. Got an email from a guy that his wife had just saw it.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm. And so we got home and sat up and come out here. And so we went from expedition to expedition back to back because of a fresh Bigfoot sighting. And then like the first night that we were there, Jenny sees a grizzly bear when we were going out to set up our game cameras.
It was a big brown bear. I don't know if it was a grizzly bear. But it had a big fat butt, and it was brown and huge. And it did not care we were there. It waddled right out in front of us and just kept on walking.
We saw a lot of moose. We had moose come right through our camp on that one.
Yeah.
Oh, and where you saw the bear was only a couple hundred yards from
And it was only 15
camp. Minutes
later that the moose came right up to us.
Mm-hmm. He was going the opposite direction of the bear, by the way. Now, what the lady saw was black, and it crossed the highway in front of her. It was heading from the mountain down into the marsh. There's on that side of Bear Lake, there's a
wetlands.
Bunch of wetlands, and it was going down into the wetlands. And Jenny and I set up camp at the closest canyon to where that happened. And then not only did we search the mountains, we went down into the marsh a couple of times hunting for it.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah. So we've showed up here right after several different Bigfoot encounters and sightings. The exciting thing about this last one is there's video evidence to go along with the sighting. It's the cell phone. The guy that filmed it on the cell phone, he said he zoomed in about half the capacity that his phone could zoom, and then for whatever reason, that the phone was full or whatever, it only filmed like 6.1 seconds. But because the creature was moving, it took several steps. You could see it was moving very fluidly. It wasn't bouncing up and down like a person would. And we got to see a straight-on profile and a side profile of it. So we got to see the shoulder width and its movement, and the length of its arms just seemed so long in proportion to its body. Different proportions than a person would have. Most people don't have arms that long. Yeah, I spent hours zooming in on that footage, playing it forward, playing it backwards, slowing it down.
Yeah, we were up really late last night, and Kelly was just hounding over that footage, and then
I wanted to make sure it was worth our while to come out here.
As soon as the sun came up, we were on our way up here.
Oh, stayed up late, got up early. Any later in the season, we may not even be able to get back in
I know.
here. And then it's that weird time of the season where there's not enough snow for the snowmobiles, but too much snow for motor vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Derek and I yesterday were out at Black Mountain doing an Bigfoot investigation yesterday, servicing some game cameras we have back in there for the winter, trying to get them all set up and ready. And that's when the guy messaged me while I was out doing all of that, and sent some of the photos, and of course I didn't have cell phone reception back in there, so I didn't even have a clue until I got home. And then, you know, I took a look at the couple of photos and like, and then started asking him some questions, and then he's like, we got a video of it, and he sent the video, and then after he sent the video, I looked at it for a little while, and then I called him. That was really nice to see the witness and talk to the witness today, because I was dealing with his really good friend, and so he was relaying questions and answers between the two of us, and then today I gotta ask him directly. And then of course he went over the story a couple of times of what happened, and so right from the horse's mouth, that was nice. Made me feel a whole lot better about the situation, that how everything played out, that they're not yanking our chain. And I kind of ruled out a costume analyzing it last night, because when it flips side profile, those broad shoulders, and then it flips side profile, it has got such a thin waist and a thin stomach. It's just amazing. And a snowmobile suit, a Bigfoot costume, just isn't gonna suck in like what I was seeing. And you guys will get to see the footage. You guys will probably have already seen the footage before you even watched this. And everybody will have their opinion, but that's mine. I liked how fluid it moved. Fluid and no bouncy. People bounce, especially me. I'm a bouncy walker.
Yeah, it was very fluid. It was almost like it floated. And it was pretty jagged over there, because I went over there today and walked.
This might be where we got stuck. Ripe rose hips off the side of the road right here. Yeah, those guys were shocked when we showed up. Well, they were investigating it, because we didn't tell them that we were gonna, you know, show up, and I had no clue that they were gonna be there. But Jenny and I go driving past the spot, and she's like, "Yep, that's it." And I'm like, "Yeah, that looks like it." So we decide to flip around, and we're looking at the spot, and Jenny's like, "There's someone down there." And then so when we pulled over, I'm zooming in with my camera, looking at him, and he's not a hunter. He doesn't have a bow or a gun, and he's inspecting the ground everywhere. And I'm like, that's someone looking for footprints. I bet you they're investigating the same thing we are. And then we flip around, and the spot where it looks like he should have been parked when he filmed it, there's someone there with the walkie-talkie telling him where to go. And so I pull up beside him, and I'm like, "Are you guys doing a Bigfoot investigation?"
The guy's mouth dropped open. Yeah.
They're looking at me shocked, and then they recognized Jenny and I right away. I'm like, "You guys want a hand investigating this?" Yep, they were analyzing their own footage. That's a very promising. God, last year and the year before, we ended up back here in the snow and mud.
I know. We're always in the snow and mud.
You know? crows being very vocal or raving, whatever you want to call it. I'm guessing that's what that was. I'm fine coming out the Beaver Creek way.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because it's closer to the sighting.
I know it is. It's just that road is really rough. If you're
But the thing is that road's easier going down than up.
Okay. If you're comfortable on going that way, then that's totally fine with me. I just wanted to come up here.
Yeah, me too. I just don't want to be on a dirt road the length of time it's going to take us to go through the Franklin Basin. And Beaver Creek takes us right out about a mile from the sighting.
Yeah.
Or maybe,
it's not even a mile.
Yeah, maybe like a half a mile. Really close. Matter of fact, that thing could have headed right down Beaver Creek after they saw it.
Yeah.
It could very well be back here right now.
It could be. That's why we're here.
No. Not funny. Jenny and I know the area so well, we're trying to outguess the Bigfoot where it's going to be. Well, and I just saw a food source. There's ripe rose hips back here. Out of all the berries and stuff, they usually eat the rose hips last. And yesterday, Derek and I saw at lower elevation, we saw some Oregon grapes that were ripe and hadn't been eaten yet. There's still some berries going on. Most berries, though, will stay good all the way through the winter. If they haven't been eaten, and they can sniff them out. Those rose hips have a lot of vitamin C. I don't know if you guys have ever eaten rose hips, but they have two taste qualities that I like. I love cucumbers and I love tomatoes, and those rose hips to me taste like a combo of the two. All the cold and the snow does is make berries taste sweeter.
Yeah.
When they get cold, they sweeten up. At any point you see a spot that you want to get out and hike and walk around, just let me know. I haven't found a worthy spot yet. With all the fresh snow on either side of the road, I'm hoping we see tracks.
I saw some tracks back there that looked like bear tracks walking along the side of the road back there.
Derek and I's investigation we did yesterday on Black Mountain, we kept on finding these black bear tracks. We found them several times, and Derek kept on like, those look fresh, and I'm like, yeah, I think they're probably within the last 24 hours, if not today. And then on our hike out, we're almost out of there, and we run into a guy with his golden lab, and he's grouse hunting. We start talking to him, and he's like, hey, just a week ago, someone saw a black bear back in here, because the guy was a local, and Derek and I was like, yep, we've saw his tracks all over the place, and the guy's like, really? He's like, all I got is bird shot, and he's like, yeah, but my dog will probably help keep it away, and I'm like, yeah, and your bird shot still makes a lot of noise.
Yeah. Bears don't like dogs at all. They're not going to purposely come at a dog for any... No way.
He said last year that the Fish and Game removed 2 black bears from that area last year because they were harassing the campgrounds.
Oh, yeah.
So...
Yep. They get greedy and they want treats.
Sometimes it's people feed them and it turns them into a problem, a nuisance.
Yep, they're little beggars.
That's why we're not into gifting Bigfoot with food, because potentially that will end up in a bear's mouth, and now you've just ruined that bear.
Or any animal.
That frickin' video of that Bigfoot, it looked like it was fit. I mean fit. Broad shoulders, thin waist, skinny stomach.
Huge arms.
I know some of the adult Bigfoot will have a thick middle section and stuff, but this one had like the tightest stomach, which to me helps rule out that it was a snowmobile suit or and who has a hairy brown snowmobile suit? Come on.
With
that fits so tightly and snugly at the stomach.
With shoulder pads.
This is where we got the creepy eye shine that followed the car in those trees over there.
Yep, to our left, it was paralleling us.
We were going the other direction.
Yeah, it was keeping up with us, running through the trees, along through the bushes.
And I was in my Jeep that had a lot of clearance, and I was going at a pretty good speed, especially when it started pacing us.
Yeah, I got afraid.
Yeah, it freaked us both out. That's before we were desensitized.
Yeah.
We've kind of become desensitized to the fear of Bigfooting at night. However, once in a while something that will happen that'll give us back that fear, like when the mountain lion followed us around. That gave me a new respect.
Yeah.
It gave me the fear and respect I should already have.
Yeah.
My biggest fear is, night or day, is running into a raunchy moose. The moose will stomp you right into the ground. And they kill more people than any other animal in North America. That's your biggest danger.
Mine's bears.
Yeah, Jenny and I have spent so much time where we're at right now. There has been times where we've been camping back here 4 days in a row and not seen another person.
Not one person.
That was a shocker.
You know, it's kind of remote, and a lot of people use it for snowmobiling. But during the summer, it doesn't get used a lot, and during the hunt, people will come back and hunt in here. We're back in hunting season, so we've seen a couple of people today, but sometimes you can spend lots and lots of time back here and never see another in person.
Yeah, I think we've seen 2 4-wheelers or side-by-sides and a truck back here so far today. But yeah, that one time that we were back here, it's the time that we heard the vocalizations 2 nights in a row. We didn't see another person for 4 full days back here.
That's a good weekend.
Yeah, nobody camping back here, and
Yeah.
which makes me nervous. I'd like to know that there's help if you need it around. You know, even if they're 2 miles away camping, at least there's someone there. But yeah, it makes me nervous when it's just Jen and I. And the less people that are around, I think animals become more emboldened.
Yeah.
Like bears and.
Well, you'll hear bear vocalizations back in here all the time.
Yeah.
They're thick back in here, especially. There's a spot where there's an old airplane crashed back in here. They got a monument about it.
Yeah, during the Korean War, it crashed back here.
And every time we do that trail right before dusk, you'll hear bears back there.
I've actually taken some friends back there to hike to the crash site at night. You know, just to get out and hike around at night for the, you know, the Bigfoot effect. And the bear vocalizations of just like, let's go.
Yeah,
we're out of here.
Everybody's done.
Well, the bears can bellow. I mean, it's a bellow roar type thing when they vocalize.
Yeah, the way back out. Over there.
That's a long frickin' drive.
I know.
Yeah. I like the fact that we're hugging the Bigfoot sighting location.
There's the Beaver Lodge.
We've totally looped the sighting location. You guys see that Beaver Lodge over there?
That's where he lives.
And they got a nice little pond going on right there.
Yeah. His lodge's getting pretty big.
Some of my favorite Bigfoot sighting reports are right around these beaver ponds.
Yeah. In fact, we have a just in this exact same little creek, just down a ways, we were looking for Bigfoot prints and we found one. And
we went out looking for prints because we heard the vocalizations and then we found one.
Yeah, it was perfect toes, everything. There's a picture of it on our website. People steal it all the time and use it for themselves.
It's all right. Because they know it's a nice track. Yeah, it had made it in standing water and in the mud, but enough time had gone by that the mud had settled, so it was crystal clear through the water. A couple of inches deep of water. So neat. Just perfect crisp. Yeah, it looks like it had leaped from one embankment right to the center of the creek and then leaped the entire distance across to the other side. And I just don't think I could make that in the way it did it myself. And especially landing in mud like that after making that leap without slipping and falling.
Yeah.
It's just just uncanny athletic ability is what went through my head when we found that. Jenny and I passed that spot all the time that those guys filmed that Bigfoot, and her and I were saying, why couldn't that have been us with our nice camera equipment instead of someone just with their cell phone? But at least someone was there, and at least they got a video of it. I think they did a great job with what they had.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, you know, and they don't do what we do. You know, they're camping enthusiasts and deer hunters, and they're not out trying to find a Bigfoot. But at least they had the presence to stop and film what they were seeing. They did an awesome job. Yeah, Jenny and I's got cameras so powerful from that distance we could have zoomed in and seen ticks on it. One of the reasons we think that we can sometimes go 4 days without seeing another person back here is because the road that we're on now is just sucks getting in and out. It's a road that you don't want to bring a camping trailer.
No.
Unless it's got some meaty tires and a lot of clearance.
No, you got to stay in a tent back here.
I won't bring my camping trailer up this road. Probably rip the bottom right off the thing.
Yeah, we'll stay down low back the other side, but not over here.
Yeah, when we're on this side, we stay in a tent.
Yeah, there's a point to no return back there. Just trailers don't want to come.
Yeah, the direction that we just came from is where you want to bring your trailer. And it's a long drive on a dirt road. And then, of course, if it rains a bunch or snows, you might be stuck back here with your trailer because you might not be able to get it back out through the mud. See these poles right here, I call them snowmobile markers because they make them high enough that hopefully the snow doesn't bury them completely, and so these guys that come back here and snowmobile in the wintertime,
they know where the trail is.
Yeah, they can find their way in and out. And that Bigfoot walked about 30 feet behind one of these, downhill from it too. And so I went and measured the closest one that walked nearby, and it's 9 feet tall. However, the Bigfoot was downhill from it, and so when we get home, I'm going to analyze what we now know and that footage again and see if I can get a better size estimate. I initially thought it was between 5 and 6 feet tall, and now after doing our investigation, I know it was 6 feet or over, and that's conservative. It was probably much larger than 6 foot. Something else that Jenny noticed, and I noticed in the video, is it's facing head on towards the camera, and then it shifts to its left. It turns to its left, and it's just unhuman-like the way it shifted its torso and its body.
Well, when it turns to look in one direction, it doesn't just turn its head. It turns its whole torso to take a look.
Yeah, that was a non-human characteristic movement.
Most people just turn their head and look. Didn't make it.
Yeah, I don't feel guilty because we do a lot of camping and traveling, but yeah, I love this place.
Oh, I'm just saying, we don't need to go so far away. This is fine.
It's actually one of those spots we should hit once a year. Need to get the whole gang to do it once a year. Yeah, this gets so nasty. No wonder why we can go so long without seeing anybody here. This is so close to the sighting. And, in my opinion, it's the closest, most reliable water source to the sighting. Sighting video. And look, it was the other side of the canyon that we saw the people. We're not seeing anybody on this side, on the crappy side. Not even seeing side-by-sides and four-wheelers over here. Oh, they've had some landslides.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to probably keep a camera in hand.
Yeah. Moose time. I took a picture of a moose print today that was just barely smaller than my regular boot.
Yep, and mind you, they have 4 of those.
Yeah. That was just a hoof print.
I love this area. Yep. This is we're moving this to the top of our bucket list for the next place to tent camp.
Now we got a new tent. It's a nice one. We can stand up in it.
Yeah, I love tents you can stand in.
Our last one, you had to kind of hunch over, and so now we can stand up.
Also, I have a tent that we used to use that's see-through.
Oh yeah, you can see
it is so old.
It is threadbare.
That you can actually, if someone's standing on the outside of that tent, you can see what color clothing they're wearing. That's how see-through it is. But you know what? It still has good seams.
Yep, it still works.
Mm-hmm. No mold. I took care of my camping stuff. Yeah, I had that. That was the first tent that I bought after high school. So, all right, I don't want to tell you guys how old I am. The tent's older than any of my kids. Let's put it that way. Yeah, I like a tent that you can stand up in, and it has enough floor area for all of our duffel bags for our clothing, enough room for us to sleep, and enough room for all of our camera gear. So yeah, Jenny and I usually like a tent that you can fit like 5 or 6 people in. Yeah, when you're bigfooting, let's face it, you have a lot of gear.
You have a lot of stuff.
I know when we started this Bigfoot gig, it like quadrupled the gear that we have to take out. That is a really cool nest. I want a picture of it.
There's a beaver lodge right here.
It looks like an old robin's nest. Look, how few people come down this road that a bird is going to build its nest right on the side of the road in the rose hips.
Oh, that's so cute.
Looks like a robin's nest, but
I don't know.
I've seen robins make nests like this, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's who it belongs to. Well, if we were being survivalists, we would take that for fire tinder.
Might be a mud swallow.
I doubt it. They put their nests in hard to access places.
Oh yeah, like up in cliff edges and stuff.
Yeah, they're not going to put it 3 feet off the ground next to a road.
That's so cute.
This section that we're driving through, we've received about 4 Bigfoot sighting reports through this section over the years. So now you guys see why we headed straight over to here after investigating that sighting. We did the loop the opposite way but when we pop out, we'll be like a half a mile from where that Bigfoot was filmed. It's like, where's it gonna go? Well, where it's always at. Right here. Yeah, we stopped a little while ago, and Jenny and I got out for about a half an hour and went looking through the snow and the mud and next to the river for footprints and stuff. I just didn't see anything. The water's crystal clear.
So pretty. I found some chipmunk prints. That's it. They put those big rocks there so that snowmobilers can't wreck up
or people drive off.
Or people can't drive and wreck up that little stream.
Keeping it pristine.
There's some footprints over there.
All right, Jenny saw some footprints. We're gonna go see what they are. I'll grab a different camera. You can use that one. What do they look like? I found a compelling looking track right here near the um 16 inches in length. The heel comes down around there. Let me make sure I'm all the way zoomed out. And you guys see the toe section right across here, and it comes back to the 16-inch mark. Possibly a Squatch coming down to the creek to drink. Across the toes is about 8 inches, yeah. 8 inches across the toes. And down at the heel is where it begins to taper, is about 6 inches at the heel. That is definitely a Bigfoot shaped track. Not saying it's Bigfoot, but it's Bigfoot shaped. And the impression goes in about 2 to 3 inches at the toes, and at the heel it goes in about a half an inch.
There's
another impression
right there.
Oh yeah. Will you grab the tape?
Yeah.
It might not have pressed all the way back, but the toes shoved in right there.
I just want to see how far apart these are.
You're gonna measure the...
That's dry. Just put it on the edge of that rock.
Okay. Okay, leave it there.
Looks like 4.5 feet.
4.5 feet, and it could have just been a casual step, you know. It's not like it was in any hurry.
Well, let's just measure how wide it is.
I see close to 8 inches, 7.5. Now that might be another one of its feet.
We can't see the edge of it either.
It's a real solid surface because of the rock.
It's gonna start going uphill right here, and then it's road. I don't see
dirt road. Let's see if we can see where it stepped again. Here's part of an impression right here. It's not much though. Yep, that's why we checked the water sources and the creeks and stuff. Bigfoot sighting close to this area. And Jenny's and I has been keeping an eye near the creeks. and just found what looks like a 16-inch long track, 8 inches wide at the toe, 6 inches wide where it tapers at the heel. And that may or may not be the Bigfoot that got filmed. I mean, there's not just one in the world. There's usually, when we find Bigfoot tracks in the area, if we spend enough time in the area, we'll find more than one individual. And the reason we know they're different individuals because they have different length footprints. Jenny actually spotted a moose track. When we went to investigate, it was a moose track near the creek, and then I found 2 Bigfoot tracks down the creek from that. 16 inches long, 8 inches wide at the toes. Really good impression where it tapers at the heel, 6 inches. Good sized track. Okay, this is the closest reliable creek to the sighting. The Bigfoot track impressions that I found doesn't necessarily mean it's from the individual that was filmed. We know that they're a lot of times have like small family units. I don't know what they are, but in our experience Bigfooting, when we find tracks, if we can stay in the area long enough and look for other tracks, more often than not we'll find another individual. And the reason we know that they're different individuals is because they have different length tracks. So not sure if that 16-inch length track is the Bigfoot was filmed, a relative, or unrelated individual. But this place does not disappoint. And it was right down by the water source where the earth is kind of soft, allowing it, but sunk in deep. At first impression, the deepest point up near the toes was nearly 3 inches deep. Okay, keep your eye open. This is a choke point. Keep the eye open for the squatches, people. Especially, we just found impressions in the area. That individual was filmed 7 days ago. That very well could have been its tracks right there. And that just, you know, the unknown. It just kind of gives me the chills that could have been its footprints. And Jenny and I's hunch, you know. Let's head to the Bigfoot sighting hotspot with the reliable water source nearby. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What kind of hell is this?
I know. I was like, are you comfortable going that way?
This is worse than it was the last time. Let me see. Okay, I think I see.
You're gonna have to bounce over that hole. You can't.
Do you think I should go up this way, or do you think I should straddle this one?
Just stay up here. I think we're thin enough to do it. Just stay up.
Stay up high?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay, now this.
A little bit of teetering. I see how to get this one. This one's not as intimidating as that last one.
Oh my gosh. Like our car's gonna.
This is worse than it was the last time.
I would.
Do you want me to go back up that way?
I would stay over here. I don't think you're gonna clear that other spot. Just don't hit this rock over here.
I think I saw a way to navigate
Or boulder.
this. Yeah.
be careful.
I wish that Sinks Bigfoot would just run across the road in front of us, damn it. Wow. Not one scrape. Knock on wood. Hopefully that's the worst part of this.
I don't think all of our tires were on the ground at the same time.
No, I could feel that some of our tires come up off the ground. Every year I told Jenny I am not rock crawling in my vehicle again. And then what do? We rock crawl. Yeah, this is the reason why we go days upon days when we camp back here without seeing anybody. Because this road sucks. So I want the e-bikes.
I want a four-wheeler.
Side by side. And I want a thermal camera. Yeah, the list never ends. You notice that damn near everything we want is for Bigfooting.
That's all we do.
I like all the stuff that goes along with the camping and traveling and seeing new places and then the modern day mystery. Yeah, we were on the other side of the mountain from here. What was the name of that place? Well, we went from the ice cave in Paris Canyon down to a place called Willow Flats. And in Jenny's vehicle, she had this Saturn Vue, had some decent clearance and stuff. And we found this road going down to Willow Flats. And we get part way down it and just realize it was a big mistake. Jenny's driving, and I was having to get out of the car and tell her to put your tire on this rock, put your tire on this sagebrush to navigate it. It was just so scary. And these guys come up on these four-wheelers and stuff, and this one kid comes up to Jenny's window and he's like, "Hey, lady, do you know this is the four-wheeler trail?"
Like, yeah.
And then he's like, "You guys should probably turn around." And we're like, "Yeah, where?"
I looked at him and I'm like, "Where? Where would you suggest I turn around?" And he's like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, we were at the point of no return that you had to finish it.
There wasn't anywhere to turn around.
Right, and then the next time Jenny had her car at the mechanic, she picks her car up from the mechanic, and the mechanic told her to quit rock crawling.
He's like, "What are you doing in that thing?" The whole bottom of it is wrecked. Like, I know.
I'll tell you what, my mechanics like me. I'm sure I help make their house payments and their car payments on certain months. Nope, another beaver lodge. I wonder if the Bigfoot's just interested in the water source, if they try to snatch a beaver for a meal from time to time, or the fish that may be attracted. I just know there's a lot of sightings around beaver ponds. Matter of fact, on Thousand Peaks, where the Bigfoot was chomping its teeth at the two hunters, and then it growled and ran for tree cover, and then sat in the tree cover growling at them with intimidation. They spotted it right next to a deer pond. I mean, not a deer pond, a beaver pond, before it started chomping at them and stuff.
Well, in my experience, the little beaver ponds aren't very deep, and the water's usually crystal clear, and there's always fish just swimming around, and if you hold real still, you can pretty much scoop them out with your hand. I mean, if it likes fish, I don't see why not.
Well, and if they're patient and they lay there long enough to snatch a beaver for a mill, that's a 30 to 60 pound mill.
That'd be something to see.
I know a lot of those trappers in the Yukon and even in Montana, they'll eat the beaver that they trap. And they say that the tail meat tastes really good. Now, some of the things that people have saw Bigfoot eating are leaves off of trees, grass out of springs. People have seen them.
Kelp.
Seen them with kelp, headless rabbit.
Rabbits. Yep.
They've snagged deers hanging in deer hunter camps. People have even shot deer, went up to collect them, and a Bigfoot snatched them and ran off. So perhaps they eat deer.
Fish.
Yeah, they've taken fish out of people's camps. As a matter of fact, my grandpa's Bigfoot sighting at Mount St. Helens, the 3 Bigfoot watching him fish had him trapped up in that part of the lake. There was nowhere for him to run unless he wanted to dive in the water, and the fish that he had caught, he threw back to him, and they retrieved them and then disappeared. So
I wanted his fish.
Or it was like, hey, wow,
a treat.
Look what he's doing.
Yeah, they don't have fishing poles. So
yeah, after a little while, he was like, maybe they're here because of my fish. And then after he chucked his fish to him, and they took him and left, then he bailed. He didn't know what he had saw. He'd never heard of such a thing. It was 1930s, and he was in his early 20s. Mount St. Helens. Him and 4 other buddies. And 3 of those other 4 buddies saw the 3 Bigfoot that he saw too. And it wasn't in the pop culture. You know, he thought he saw some kind of a monster. And then it wasn't until Patterson Gimlin days when that video started getting played in movie theaters. And he's like, that's what I saw, 3 of them. And then he finally had something he could call it, Bigfoot. Yeah, my grandpa's story as a kid is what turned me into an enthusiast. The Patterson Gimlin film helped me become an enthusiast too. Because all I gotta say is that's a real creature on that video.
Maybe those other 2 are with them.
Yeah, they're setting up camp before the road gets bad.
Have a nice night tonight, because it's going to get down to 30 degrees.
And Bigfoot's here.
Bigfoot's here.
Yep.
Don't leave your food out. Yeah, maybe they'll be the next people to get a hold of us. They'll be on the news.
Alright, it looks like we are almost back to the highway. You know, we got out and hunted around in different places that made sense. Jenny saw some tracks that turned out to be moose, and then up the creek a little ways from the moose tracks we found Bigfoot tracks. So our hunch was right. After investigating the filming site, this is where we needed to come and look around. We found what appear to be 16-inch long by 8-inch wide Bigfoot tracks. I'm going to end this right here. If we see anything else on our way out, we'll make sure that we add it to this video. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching.